All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Daily. My name is Jackson. I post daily Raiders content, so be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoy it. The Las Vegas Raiders, they have talked to Anthony Richardson. He met with the Colts, the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Las Vegas Raiders, along with a couple of other teams. There is certainly no lack of interest surrounding Florida quarterback Anthony Richardson. Now, luckily enough for me, I've been able to see him play, and he was awesome. He was very fun to watch. Now, when we talk about his fit on the Las Vegas Raiders, the reason kind of behind it, outside of having no quarterback right now, is because he has that boom or bust potential. If we go back to previous drafts, like guys like, some of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, these were guys coming out of college that weren't good. There was a lot of potential there. It just hadn't all come together. And it kind of pretty much reminds me of what Anthony Richardson, like if we take a look at the statistics last season, it was not anything crazy. 2,500 total yards thrown, 17 touchdowns. He had 9 interceptions. He did have 654 yards running, along with 9 touchdowns running, but it's not crazy statistics. If you look at CJ Stroud, it's like 44 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, thousands of yards. Now, Anthony Richardson, the big question mark surrounding him is, can he make NFL level throws? Can he be a good passer in the league? We know he has his legs. We know he is elusive. We know he has that. It's what gives him the it factor, is he's able to work around in the pocket, avoid trouble, get that first down and make the crazy play. But can he make the NFL level throws? Now, this isn't, unfortunately, I wish it was, this isn't a scouting channel, because you're not even really allowed to put up any type of clips, especially college is very, very stingy with it. So I'm going to try and have as many clips of Anthony Richardson as possible playing on in the background. But, the Raiders have the 7th pick. And currently, there is no big, reliable quarterback. Even Jarrett Stidham isn't technically under contract. So with the 7th pick, and if you guys have been keeping an eye out just as far as quarterback hype for this year's draft class is going, it's looking very real possibility, due to trade ups or what have you, that the first 3 picks in this year's draft are all going to be quarterbacks. All right. So they're finding their guys, like, say, for example, the Carolina Panthers. They have the 9th pick in the draft, and they're like, all right, you know what? We know Will Levis is our guy, so let's trade up and get him, and let's just do what we got to do because we're sold on Will Levis. There is no clear and decisive number 1 QB this year. Now, obviously, the possibility of getting a guy like Aaron Rodgers technically is still out there. Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, there are some veteran QBs that the Raiders could look for. But to be honest with you, the last week or so, now that Josh McDaniels and our GM are out there at this combine right now, seems like they're going to take a QB. I'm kind of leaning towards that they're going to take a QB and do a quick retool for the defense, because he has plenty of playmakers around him. Looks like they really want to re-sign Josh Jacobs, bring him back, ease a little bit of the pressure off a possible rookie QB. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to get a guy, definitely not Carson Wentz specifically, but a guy like Carson Wentz, a guy like Jarrett Stidham, where you have your bridge starter just in case. Because especially Anthony Richardson, he's a very raw prospect. It probably won't be that pretty in his rookie season. At least you have a little bit of backup in case it's like really bad. All right. Now, the 7th pick isn't too far off. I think I've actually even seen some mock drafts where all 4 quarterbacks have been taken before the 7th pick for the Las Vegas Raiders. But, at the same time, all this is just speculation. I've also seen a bunch of drafts that have the Raiders getting an offensive tackle or a cornerback, whatever it is. I've seen just as many mocks that don't have the Raiders taking a QB. But I will just say this. I know it's very risky all QBs, all players in general, but especially QBs are going to be very risky in their rookie season because nobody's ever sold on any of these players. It's not, there's no like Joe Burrow of this year's NFL draft class at the QB position where you're like, yep, he's the guy. Let's do it. Number one pick, bang. Bryce Young, you're seeing all these concerns right now with Bryce Young's height and weight. Will Levis, he didn't improve in his senior season at Kentucky. CJ Stroud. I really like CJ Stroud. I just don't think the Raiders are going to be in a position to draft him. I think he's going to be taken away before number 7. So I'm just saying, if the Raiders get at the 7th pick, if they were to get Anthony Richardson, I would not be upset in the slightest. But at the same time, that definitely would be a big signal. There also have been a lot of signals out there this year, this offseason at the end of last year, that the Raiders most likely, it's not out of the realm, it's not guaranteed, but that the Raiders most likely aren't going to be all that competitive this year. Now, the unfortunate reality is you're also in the AFC West, and you have to deal with Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert twice a year, and we also have one of the worst defenses and one of the worst offensive lines in the entire National Football League. So it wasn't really looking good to begin with, but that what puts the Raiders in a difficult, a tough little situation here is, well, you have superstar talent, not star talent. You have superstar talent. Guys who impact games, can get you deep in the playoffs like Devontae Adams. You have Max Crosby. You have Josh Jacobs. Those are 3 legitimate, intense, crazy playmakers that make your team get to that next level. So I understand both sides, like wanting to get out a QB and kind of start fresh. There is a lot of skepticism out there, which is Josh McDaniels being the head coach for that in general. And I fully understand it. So there's just, it's March 2nd. We have free agency about less than 2 weeks away. So it's just going to be a really interesting offseason for the Raiders. We've talked about this time and time again, is who really knows what's about to happen. The good news is we don't have to wait that long because all of our questions are going to be answered relatively soon. There is always the hope that Aaron Rodgers can come over. I know it's a short fix, but at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers to the Raiders would be insane. If it were to actually happen, we can all have our opinions on it right now, but if it were to actually happen, he automatically, literally automatically makes the Raiders Super Bowl contenders, and a good quarterback, a good offense, it eases a lot of pressure off your defense. There are a lot of nice pieces on the defense, so hopefully this upcoming season isn't horribly desperate and worse than this past year, which was an absolute dumpster fire. And I'm going to keep faith. I'm going to keep hope. And it starts with a good free agent class, and it starts with a good draft. All right. So that's it for today. But more importantly, guys, let me know what you're thinking about drafting Anthony Richardson down below in the comment section. And that's it for today. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. I'll catch you guys.